Hello. Welcome to our coffee talk. So I'm Cheryl, a speech and language therapist.
I'm Edmund, and I'm a counsellor. We are both from OWL Counselling and Speech Therapy. So Cheryl, what is this OWL Coffee Talk about?
That's a very good question. So our coffee talk is a podcast that Edmund and I always wanted to work on. In which we really want to share things about our professions, so a speech and language therapist and a counsellor, as well as to spread some awareness in terms of what we do as a professional, and also the topics that are very close to our hearts. So in terms of like screen time, neurodiversity, and we also hope in through this podcast, we can actually share strategies with some parents as well as with other fellow professionals.
I believe we also wanted to share a bit about, some stories that we have as a professionals. Some good stories, bad stories, humorous stories, tips, and some general information, that about us and about all the different topics, right?
Yes.
So Cheryl, I'm always wonder what exactly is a speech and language therapist?
I think even after working together for quite some time, there's like too many areas in a way. So it's really, really tough to to be able to share every area in detail. So just a very quick overview. So there are different areas that speech and language therapists actually work in. So because I'm a pediatric speech and language therapist, so the areas that I work on will be more in terms of like language wise, so where kids we do see kids with language delays, and in terms of speech wise, kids with unclear speech if they can't pronounce a certain sound accurately. And then we have the fluency part of things, whereby we see kids with stuttering difficulties. And also in terms of like feeding wise, so kids who might be picky eaters or have difficulties in terms of like swallowing, and also in terms of voice, like kids who have very hoarse voice because of shouting a lot. So, and lastly, it will be augmentative and alternative communication. In short, we call it AAC. So whereby kids who are non-speaking, then they need an alternative mode of communication with others. So these are the 6 main areas that an SLT, short form for speech and language therapists, work on. So how about yourself as a counsellor?
Well, as a counsellor, I do work with children and teenagers, alright? The main focus will be on mental health. So for example, anxiety, depression, separation anxiety, things like that. We also work on not so severe issues like stress. How do you manage stress, anger management, some mild behavioral issues that children or teenagers may present. In our course of work, of course, we try to empower the child or the teenagers to help them to solve their own problems. So one misconception that people always have is that, as a counsellor, I give out suggestion, I give out advice, which is not true. So in my work, I do try to empower them so that they can solve their own problem. So that's the main gist of my work.
That's really nice.
I wonder, Cheryl, how would parents know their child needs speech and language therapy?
That's a very good question. I think a lot of parents have that concern as well, especially during the growing years. And I think the peak period will usually be like when they are 1 year old, whether they are meeting their milestones, and whether they have their first words, or even when they pass 1 year of age, parents will start thinking, why are they not speaking in longer sentences? So I think when in doubt, the golden rule will be to just go and seek help, just find a professional. You don't have to say, I'm going to start therapy immediately, but it'd be good to probably seek some advice from a professional to actually get a professional to interact with your child. Because if parents were to face them on a day-to-day basis, they will definitely know whether the child is actually communicating, whether the child is asking for something, or is your child crying most of the time when he or she can't get what he or she wants. I think that is one of the red flags that we look at as well. Yeah.
So I hear delay. So if there's any delay in terms of the milestone, I should check with a professional.
Yes, that would be ideal in a way, but typically parents would be keen to look for a pediatrician as well. I mean, it's possible also, one of the possible ways, and a pediatrician might also refer to a speech and language therapist.
So they can either consult a speech and language therapist directly,
yes,
or they can consult a pediatrician.
Yeah, definitely. Yes, yes. How about for counseling side of things?
Usually I will recommend to parents to look out for, first of all, is there any big explosion of emotions? It could be anger outbursts, it could be crying uncontrollably, or being moody all of a sudden. So any expression of emotions that is quite concerning, that's one. Definitely. The other thing is also behavioral wise. We can look at any changes in their behavior. If usually they are quite happy-go-lucky and then suddenly they stop talking, so that's a concern. Or the other way around, if usually they are a quiet person and then suddenly they talk a lot to you, so that might also mean something, right, behavioral-wise. And lastly is any withdrawal from any social activity. If they suddenly say that, no, oh, I don't want to go visit grandma anymore, or I don't want to go to school, don't want to meet their friends, they just want to stay by themselves, that's also some indicators of maybe some issues is there.
Okay. Oh, that's really comprehensive. So I think that really gives parents an overview of what are some of the signs to look out for. Actually, that reminds me of one of the I mean, some parents actually do ask this question quite regularly. They would like, oh, my child is just crying non-stop. Is it an emotional issue, or is it something else, which is something that they can't really figure out? And oftentimes we might ask a little bit more questions to ask parents, oh, is there any underlying reasons, like during what are the situations whereby they show like emotional dysregulation also. And sometimes parents do share that, oh, my child is not communicative. Oh, so that's when we start to, oh, so maybe it's because they can't communicate. That's why they might have that dysregulation as well. So,
So I guess crying is quite common for children, right? If a children is not crying, then that's unusual, right?
Yeah.
But we also want to see whether the frequency of it.
Yeah.
Of course, if they keep crying, so that might mean something.
True.
Or if they don't cry at all, so that's also something to worry about.
Yes.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, so crying can mean quite a few things. Like it could mean that they have a need that they cannot communicate.
Yes.
And they cannot communicate because they are scared, worries, or is it because they cannot communicate because they have no words and no language to express that?
Definitely.
So I think then that will fall into your purview, right?
So it might sound really complicated now that we are talking about it, right? So I guess that's why the same advice goes also. As long as you spot any red flags, consult a professional early so that early intervention could be done to support the child also.
I agree with you. Even in counseling, early intervention usually means better outcome, right? The longer we delay, usually it takes longer times to get better, and the outcome may not be as good. So how about speech therapists, Does it mean that we have to intervene as early as possible? Can we wait and see? Can we delay?
Yeah, so as much as possible. As a speech and language therapist, I would say yes. The short answer is definitely yes. But the details will be also because the longer we delay the start of therapy, the longer the longer it takes for the child to be able to start learning new skills, and for parents to learn strategies to support their child at home as well. So if we were to wait for like a 1 year kind of waiting time, that would be a 1 year kind of delay already. And kids usually have this thing called the language explosion, or whereby they start picking up language really, really quickly at the age of 2 years old.
Okay.
So imagine if therapy were to be delayed until like maybe instead of 3 years old, they start therapy at 4 years old, they would have missed out a golden gap, the time whereby intervention could have been done much earlier. So that's why when they start therapy later, we have to actually play catch up, whereby they get to catch up with what their peers are actually doing, but at the same time their peers are also developing. So then that's when we will see whereby they still have their own struggles also as compared to their peers, because their peers might still be performing better than them.
Okay. So the key here is really early intervention, right? And when in doubt, always ask the professional.
Yes. Yeah, okay. So regardless whether it's us or other professionals, but to seek help early as well. Yeah.
I agree. Yeah. Cool. Maybe you can tell the audience, whoever is watching, what can they expect in the next few episodes.
Oh, okay. So like what we mentioned earlier on, so what is our coffee talk about? So we'll be covering things such as neurodiversity, screen time, our favorite topic on like focus, attention, ADHD, on autism also. And anything else that I might have missed out?
I think we will also talk a bit about some current topics related to mental health.
Oh yes.
Right? The recent screen time guideline that's been launched by MOH. We may also talk about, any current affair that is related to what we do. Right?
True.
Bullying in schools, delay in milestones.
Developmental milestones.
So I think we'll
always been a constant worry.
Some psychological tips here and there for parents.
Sure.
How can you reach out to the child? How can you talk to your child? Or when in doubt, what can you do and things like that. I think we will cover a lot more on all those things. Yeah. Maybe we will cover also a bit about what's behind the scenes that parents don't know. Right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Spilling some tea.
Some teas about
spilling some coffee.
What's so interesting about SLT and counselling?
Some unknown sides of the profession as well.
Some secrets that only the professional knows. Maybe we'll try to share some of this with everyone.
Probably towards the end of the series.
Alright, look forward to the next episode, okay?
Yes.